Hi guys, this is Nikki with My Creative Chaotic Life, and I'm here to bring you guys another crafty love note. This one I'm going to be showing you guys how you can get a cracked glass or a crackle effect using your embossing powders. I have a couple of clear embossing powders here. One has a little bit of iridescent sparkle, and one is just a regular clear embossing powder. I have a little square paper that I drew a little bird shape on. I've got my Versamark pad and my heat gun. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, what we're going to do, as we do with any kind of a project where we're going to be laying embossing powder right on top of our paper, is I am going to start by applying a good coat of my Versamark right onto the paper. And then I'm going to sprinkle on a layer of my embossing powder. I'm using just a regular clear embossing powder here. This process actually works a little bit better if you use like a ultra thick embossing powder or something along those lines, but I happen to be out of mine. So I'll just show you how we can work with this clear embossing powder. So as you see, I got that applied to my square, and I'm going to heat it. Because this is a smaller piece, I'm just going to lay it right on my work surface, and I'm going to hold it in place with the pair of scissors or tweezers or something, and then heat it until it melts. Okay, now that that layer of embossing powder is melted, I'm going to go ahead and continue adding layers until I get a really nice thick coat. If I was using ultra thick embossing powder, I would only probably do 3, maybe 4 coats, but because I'm not, I'm going to do probably 6 or 7. I have a nice thick coat of my clear embossing powder on here, and I've applied one more layer of my Versamark. And the last thing I want to do, because I want to get a little bit of sparkle, is I'm going to apply a final coat of this clear iridescent embossing powder. So I'm just going to sprinkle that on, shake the excess off, heat it again, and then we will be on to our next part here, the magic part where we're going to get our crackle. So just cleaning up my work surface a little bit, getting things put away. So here I've got my little piece that we've had the layer upon layer upon layer of the embossing powder added. With that final coat of the iridescent sparkle embossing powder, and now that I have my embossing powder melted, while it's still hot, I'm going to take this and put it in the freezer. Okay, so I've pulled my little piece out of the freezer here, and if you can tell, it's kind of curled up a little bit, but my embossing powder doesn't look at all cracked yet. Let's see if we can zoom in, and you can get a look here and see how it's shimmery, but it hasn't cracked yet. And in order to get that crackle effect, first off, we're going to need to kind of flatten it out. And then we're going to kind of hit it on our hands a little bit. And that's going to get those cracks in our embossing powder. Let me see if I can't bring it up. And you can see how, get it up to the camera here, I don't know if you can see that we're getting those cracks that are forming in there. Really can't see them that well on the camera, can you? So we'll just kind of smack it again a couple of times, and we get those cracks that show up. And one of the ways that you can really get those to show up even better is to use a little bit of a paint or something. And what I'm going to do is I've got this metallic paint right on my work surface. If I can open it, I'll just get a little bit, oops, on my finger here and rub it in. Oops. Rub it in, trying to get it into as many of those cracks as we can. And then once you have it rubbed in pretty well, I'm going to put a little bit more on there, I think. We'll take a baby wipe and wipe off that excess so that you can really see that those cracks have developed in there. So let's zoom out and see if you can get a little bit better focus if we zoom out on this. I'm sorry that we don't have a real good picture, but let's see if we can't hold it right up to the camera so that you can see that we do have that cracked look here, a cracked glass effect. So I hope you've enjoyed this little crafty love note, and I hope you can find a fun place in your art to use this technique. Have a good day. Bye-bye.